Happy day after Chris Bohr's Day, aka April 31st. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Science, bitch! That has nothing to do with Chris Bohr's Day. Anyway, 2016 NFL Draft has come and gone. Do I wish we had more picks here in Philadelphia? Yes, I do. And I was against this trade to get Carson Wentz here. But I was not against getting Carson Wentz here. I'll explain what that means here in a second. I didn't like giving up 5 draft picks and 2 players to get up to the number 2 spot to pick a guy up. That very, 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 very rarely works. In fact, that exact scenario has never worked, where you've given up both players and 5 or more draft picks. Anyway, the reason why I say I'm not against Carson Wentz coming here is if the Eagles swapped that pick with Miami and traded Kiko and Byron to Miami to get that number 8 pick from the 13th spot, and someone like Carson Wentz slipped in the draft to number 8, I'd be like, oh, shit, yeah, take him. Take a chance at him. Take a chance on a franchise quarterback at that point. So I don't want people thinking that I'm against Carson Wentz here in Philadelphia just because I'm against the means in which what got him here. All right, the kid looks promising, but you know what? Anyone's highlight packages looks promising. I mean, if you look at Nick Foles' highlight package, it looks very similar to Carson Wentz with a difference being in mobility. But anyways, I digress. He's here, and I'll admit I didn't like all the steps taken to get him here, but when he was finally drafted and when it was set in stone, I was loving the feeling I was having. I really was. I was loving the feeling of saying, like, is this going to be another Donovan McNabb? Is this going to be a franchise player? Is this going to be a multiple-time Pro Bowl player? Is this guy that's going to hopefully at least get us to a Super Bowl like Donovan did and be a contender and someone that the league... Because the years where Donovan was here were some of the best years in Philadelphia football. And just knowing every year, it's like, you know, you were one of the teams to watch year after year after year after year, making it to the NFC Championship year after year after year, making the playoffs all the time. Just to go back to that would feel so fucking good. And if Carson can do that, because I kind of had the same feeling because I was one of the people that wanted Ricky Williams here instead of Donovan. I didn't boo the Donovan pick or anything like that, but I'm like, once Donovan was picked, I was like, you know, this kid from Syracuse looks like he's got some pretty decent potential. And I have that same feeling here with Carson Wentz. Now, huge difference between Syracuse University and North Dakota State. Huge difference. But we'll let the chips fall where they may. Speaking of chips, took a quarterback away from Chip Kelly. Took a quarterback away from Chip Kelly that he probably would have drafted if he was still sitting there at that number 7 pick or 6 pick, wherever the 49ers drafted. Anyway, hard to believe that Chip Kelly's first pick was a player from University of Oregon. Like, that stunned me. I was like, no way. No friggin' way. Chip Kelly drafted someone from the University of Oregon? Ha! Anyway, but then again, the Eagles went ahead and did that in the later rounds. Anyway, as for the rest of this draft, and one pet peeve I had about this draft that a number of people kept bringing up is not to stress out about this draft and the picks that the Eagles gave up for Carson Wentz to get up to the number 2 spot to pick Carson Wentz. As people kept saying, Eagles still have 7 draft picks in this draft. Like, big deal. You had 2 picks in the first 4 rounds. That's a pretty big deal. Not to mention you had nothing in the second and third round. Like, I like the positions that they drafted for. They drafted positions of need. Like, I'm not going to criticize who they picked, but where you pick guys absolutely weighs into a draft. Because when you get beyond 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round type picks, you very seldom see those guys become main players on teams. I know. Every time someone says something like what I just said, it's like, oh yeah, well look where Richard Sherman was drafted. Oh yeah, look where this guy was drafted. Look where... Very, 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 very seldom do you see some guy be a big producing starter when you pick in the 4th round and beyond. Is it possible? Yes, obviously. But frankly, a lot of times you see getting cut on rosters, go ahead and tell me what round they are drafted in. Because you don't see a lot of 1st and 2nd round guys getting drafted after being a year or 2 in the league. So anyway, again, I have no problem with what positions, going O-line, going secondary, running back, quarterback, fine. All good positions of need, all rightful draft picks that should have been honed after and gotten. And, actually, I'll get the small one in a second. But, I mean, it still does concern me that you had no 2nd, no 3rd round picks, and you didn't pick again after the 1st round until late in the 4th round. But you got a lot of needs. It looks like we beefed up this O-line a little bit, but again, will these guys be able to produce? That's the key question here, because for all intents and purposes, other than quarterback, you're probably going in with the pretty much same roster as last year, with a few exceptions here and there. But anyway, a little bit more on the Sam Bradford thing, because so many people, and even hosts on like WIP and 97.5 here in Philly, are so dead set on Sam Bradford being a little bitch for not competing for his job and telling his agent that he wants out of Philadelphia because he's not getting a fair shake here, because when you move up to number 2 and draft a quarterback, it's game over. And like, that's exactly how I've been seeing this. Like, I'm under the impression that Sam Bradford was done wrong. Now, it has come out now that they said they told Sam Bradford they were going to go after a quarterback. But that's the thing. Going after a quarterback in the draft, which I would have had no problem with. I would have no problem with the Eagles going after a quarterback in the draft. I have a problem with the Eagles giving up draft picks and moving up to number 2, therefore wronging Sam Bradford in the process, whatever the fuck word I'm trying to look for there. Because Sam Bradford's now a disgruntled quarterback on your team that you were hoping was going to be here for at least another year. And the people saying like, well, Sam Bradford's being such a little bitch. He doesn't want to compete for his job. He's too stuck up. Well, that's the thing. There is no job to compete for. There is none. When you have a team that gives up Kiko Alonso, Byron Maxwell, a 1st round pick, a 2nd round pick, a 3rd round pick, a 4th round pick, gives up all that and another draft pick on top of that, gives up all that, trades up to number 2. That guy they're drafting at number 2 is your starting quarterback. And you are fucking delusional if you think there is some sort of job Sam Bradford could compete for here. Like, you're delusional. You're insane. Sam Bradford had no chance of keeping his job outside of this season and outside of the 1% chance that he looked like the next Johnny Unitas, the next Brett Favre, the next Aaron Rodgers, the next whatever in this one season of play in 2016. Like, outside of that slim to nothing chance, Bradford was playing one more season here. That's it. So why wouldn't he be pissed? Why wouldn't he be pissed? You people make it act like, oh, well, if Sam Bradford played well, he could have went ahead and played another year. Get the fuck out of here. That's insanity. That is insanity. Excuse me. That is fucking insanity. I said sanctity. I know. I heard it, people. I said the word insanity wrong. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. There was no job here for Sam Bradford, so I don't know why so many people are calling him just like a crybaby bitch for not wanting to compete for his job. Again, there was no job for him to compete for outside of starting one more season here while your new quarterback of the future sits on the sideline with a clipboard and learns the game before he goes in there full time. Anyway. Wendell Smallwood, all right? People are trying to make a big deal about Wendell Smallwood and his Twitter account. Wendell Smallwood is the running back the Eagles drafted. I like the guy, and I barely follow college football, and I always say that, so my analysis of college football is slim to none, so don't take anything I say about college football players for gospel. Wendell Smallwood tweeted out a number of things that were derogatory to Philadelphia Just a number of things. So many people in Philadelphia are gays. I hope I never play there. The Sixers are trash. The only reason that city's got any buzz is because of their rap scene, and just like shit like that. That, okay, fine, you didn't need to say that stuff, but you did. But here's the thing, dude. All right, if you play well in this city will bow and kiss your fucking feet. And I am like so interested in seeing this guy play because, number one, if you lollygag here, Wendell, they will nail you to the proverbial fucking cross and leave you out to dry here in Philadelphia. But if you play well, like I said, this city's going to bow and kiss your feet. All right? But the one other reason why I am so interested in this pick and I want to see this kid succeed so well is he is the absolute antithesis of the anti-Chip Kelly draft pick. There is absolutely no way in hell Chip Kelly would have drafted him. Absolutely not. 0% chance. Not happening. All right, this guy is just like that. Oh, man. Oh, he talks like a street gangster, man. He's got broken English. He can barely type out words coherently on his Twitter. He doesn't look like he's going to be getting accepted to Harvard anytime in the near future. Like, all that shit that Chip Kelly was afraid of. And he's already speaking out against the city. Oh, I can't have you here. Can't have you here. You got to be in for Philadelphia or you got to get off. Can't take a chance on a guy that may have extreme talent but has some beef with a city. Oh, boy. Like, please, again, if he doesn't show up to play, Philadelphia fans will take care of this guy every time he steps on the field. But if he does play, that's great. Because frankly, I don't care if this guy doesn't stand a chance of getting accepted to Harvard or can't spell the word the correctly or anything like that. Like, I don't give a shit. If he can run well with the football on the field and keep his nose clean as far as getting arrested or anything like that, come on board. Come on board. You're welcome in this backfield any day, buddy. It sounded kind of gay. But anyway, get it? Because he's welcome in this backfield. Like, fuck. Anyway, I'm like, as far as people like I'm rooting for in this draft, like obviously I'm rooting for Wentz, but Wendell all day. Oh man. Because it'd be interesting to see this guy be humbled and say, like, I'm so glad I came here to play for Philadelphia, and see him change his tune completely and see him play well here and see the fans love him and have to see him say thank you to the fans for patting him on the back and all that shit. I would so love to see that. And that's the thing, like, people are like, oh man, you're going to accept this guy in the Eagles' nest? You see all this shit he's saying about Philly? I'm like, fuck yeah, I will. If he can run well with the football, I'll accept him right in. I don't give a shit if he had beef with this city. There's a lot of people that have beef with this city. Fucking beef, chicken, stew it all up. Bring it all into Philadelphia. If you play well, you'll get accepted here. Try not to get arrested or anything like that. That's a bit of a sticking point. Anyway. I mean, I'm liking this draft again, but taking chances on later round draft picks. Anyway. I want football season to start, even though I won't be here. I'm going to be in Europe during the start of the football season. I just want football season here just to even know that it's starting. I'll settle for preseason football right now, and I'll tell you what. I am not going to be all out, balls to the wall, Wentz crazy if this guy plays top tier football in the preseason, because I fell for that shit one final time with how Bradford played in the preseason, how the Eagles played in preseason last year and became the preseason football champions of the National Football League. I don't care if Wentz in preseason goes like 100 for 100 with 27 touchdowns and 6,000 passing yards in 4 preseason games. Like, I don't care. I'm still going to be like, show me what you do when the weeks matter. When the weeks have a number after them in the regular season. All right? Show me. Anyway. Just a side note, the whole Tunsil thing. And Laramie Tunsil slipping in the draft. And, oh my God, the poor Brownies. The poor Brownies. Got that 8 pick from the Eagles. And they were all set to draft Laramie Tunsil, and they had to trade out of that pick with the Titans. because the guy that they did want was going to be there later on in the draft at whatever teen spot, 15 I think they ended up. Anyways, like the Brownies just can't catch a break. But then the Dolphins end up taking him, which is the spot the Eagles gave up for at 13. So Tunsil was one of the most revered guys, probably going to go number 1 if the Eagles and Rams didn't jump ahead to number 1 and 2. And the whole thing of like, if this guy was set up and framed, granted, he's a knucklehead for filming himself smoking weed with a gas mask on to begin with, so I'm not going to give him a pass as far as that goes. But man, if someone has like some sort of vendetta against this guy, shit, cost this guy millions of dollars slipping that far down the draft. Anyways, that was completely fucked up. That's enough football. Let's talk about some movies that I've seen. There's 2 movies I saw recently, both of which equally shocked me. All right. The first movie I want to talk about was Exodus, Gods and Kings. All right? Christian Bale. I've yet to see a Christian Bale movie where I said, oh man, that movie is bad. Like, I pretty much love everything Christian Bale's done. It's close to a Christian Bale fanboy as there can be. Anyway, all right, he was, the Terminator movie was kind of okay, but it was still watchable, all right? With Mick G! Longtime fans will know why I hate Mick G. Anyway, Terminator Pussification. The search bar's up there for a reason. Look that up. A rant from like 6 years ago. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I'm getting off track. God damn, focus. Not that focus. Oh my God, way too much focus. Exodus, Gods and Kings was probably one of the worst movies I've seen in easily the last 10 years. This movie, and I'm like, okay, it's Ridley Scott and Sigourney Weaver, Ben Kingsley. I'm seeing Aaron Paul. I'm seeing all these names, and then I'm like, okay, I've seen Aaron Paul for a total of 2 minutes in this movie. I've seen Sigourney Weaver in this movie for about 1 minute. Like these guys that were like in top billing were like barely in the movie. Ben Kingsley literally had like 3 lines in the movie, and like I was like, okay, fine, I'll just settle with the old rift between Moses and Pharaoh Ramses. And this movie, like about 2 hours in, I'm like, nothing has fucking happened. Other than, by the way, spoilers, other than Moses getting exiled, nothing fucking happened in this movie for 2 hours. And I thought maybe they were going to, like, flip the script since, it's Hollywood and you have, like, your own interpretation that you can make from the movie. So, like, I was like, okay, maybe they'll have Moses and Ramses have a fucking sword fight or something in the end of this movie. And it looked like they were going to do that. It looked like they were going to, I'm like, okay, this movie's going to try and redeem itself with a big, epic fight between Ramses and Moses. They go back to the middle of the parted Red Sea, and then the fucking sea just falls down on them, and that's how the movie ends. All right, that's pretty much all I want to talk about, other than one other scene, which was probably one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in all of cinema. That is when God... First of all, God's a real nice guy in this movie, all right? He never forgets the work of the Hebrews and the way they slaved over building the pyramids and all that stuff. They left out the part about the aliens building it, but that's a whole different story. But anyway, so God casts a plague over Egypt when, Moses goes to Pharaoh Ramses and is like, look, you have to, atone for everything here and come out and say, like, hey, I'm sorry I, like enslaved all you Hebrews, but, like, you're free and stuff now. And you have to say that before sunset, or else God is going to unleash a plague on you because a burning bush told me. But the burning bush was a little boy in this movie. Anyway, so anyways, God's like, okay, Ramses didn't speak in front of everyone and set the Hebrews free, so I'm going to cast a shadow over Egypt and kill every Egyptian child. What the fuck did these children do to the enslavement of the Hebrews? Like, again, I know this is all just basic Bible 101 type shit, nothing that wasn't already known. But the most ridiculous part of this is when Ramses goes to look for his son in his crib, and his son is dead. And the movie goes like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know whether to laugh at how hokey this is, or like vomit at how like just disgusting this is. Ramses picks up his dead baby. It's a rubberized dead infant prop. Like, you see, it's like arms flailing when Ramses is trying to hold it up, and it is one of the just like most morbidly disturbing and humorous scenes in all of cinema. Like, I'm like, am I seeing this? But then the movie's like, hold on, we got something better for you. Because in the next scene, you see Pharaoh Ramses carrying the baby in like a little mummy. Like, it's like mummified. It's wrapped up. And he's just carrying it around like a loaf of bread. Like, he's going like, okay, let me just put him in his tomb now. And I'm like, this is some disturbingly humorous shit. Why am I laughing at this? Anyway, all right. Don't watch that fucking movie. Man, was I disappointed. Like, Ridley Scott, what the fuck, dude? And Christian Bale, dude, what the fuck? A movie that I was oppositely shocked with was Kingsman. A number of you guys have recommended that I watch this movie for a number of years. Well, it hasn't been out for more than 2 years. But anyway, this movie was so good. And I sold this movie so short because of the trailers. When I see, like, you know, Colin Firth beating up a group of guys in a bar, and I'm like, all right, so let me get this right. The guy that was King George II in the King's Speech is now an ass-kicking special agent spy guy. He was like proficient in combat and weapon. What? This looks fucking stupid. And I have ignored this movie, but I finally sat down and watched it. Holy shit, that movie is good. Like, that movie is really good. And the kicker to it is Colin Firth is barely in it. But he has the best scene in the movie when he kills all those people in that church. Holy fuck. Sorry, spoiler. Should have gave you a spoiler warning. But when he kills all those people in that racist church in North Carolina, Virginia, wherever the Alabama, wherever the fuck Confederate state it was in. Oh my God. That was one of the best one-man slaughter scenes. I know technically other people in the church were killing other people in the church, but it was mostly Colin Firth, like, killing motherfuckers left and right. Holy shit. And when Poppin' Circumstance plays and all Sam Jackson's men's head are blowing up, fuck yeah. But anyways, the movie tended to focus more on the kids training to be the Kingsmen than it did the actual, you know, Kingsman Secret Service agents themselves, or special spies, whatever the fuck. Anyway, that was a good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Oh, just under 25 minutes. There we go. I try to aim for 25 minutes of content here for you guys. So anyways, the current YouTube Vortex right now, I'm gonna try and make this be a trend here, even though I know I'm gonna eventually forget. My current YouTube Vortex that I got caught up in is watching documentaries about North Korea. Like, that is just such a fascinating place to pay attention to. Like, it's ridiculous and cruel, and pretty much everyone that escapes there has the same story of what just a terrible fucking corner of the earth that is. But yet, all these documentaries, when they go and they talk to the people, they show beautiful hospitals, and, like, of course, like, when the documentary the one theme of all the documentaries about North Korea are that the documentary filmmakers are only taken to where the North Korean agents that are with them take them to. Like, they're not allowed to be like, oh yeah, here, take this car, drive on the countryside and see what you want to see. Like, it's like, you know, like, they go to a hospital. It's like a big, beautiful palace-type place, but there's never any patients in the hospital. Or like, they go to a grocery store and the shelves are stocked, but then like, there's no other grocery store in the place that has groceries in the country. And it's like all a facade, and it's like so fascinating the steps North Korea takes to expect people to shovel up the shit that they shovel out. Like, it's like, who the fuck are you fooling? And even the people that escape and the people that are always questioned say, like, oh no, I never questioned the government, never spoke out against any of the Kim Jong il uns or anything like that because I feared for my life. So of course I went around like a little sycophant and like, I get all tearful and crying when Kim Jong il died and worship Kim Jong un when he took power. And it's like, not even the own people believe this. They only act like they believe it out of fear. And it's such a terrible shithole country. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. And to this American that got arrested over there and he's going to give like 10 years hard time in a labor camp. The fuck were you doing there to begin with? Like, that pisses me off. Any single time, like, you see, like, it's like, oh, it's some guy just wanted to spread goodwill towards man in a country like Iran or North Korea. Like, every now and then you'll hear, like, some, mountain climbers were taken by Iranian authorities because they were seen as spies by the American spies or whatever. And I'm like, the fuck did you have to go mountain climbing for in Iran? Like, find a different mountain. Like, why go to a place where there's such a chance that things could get construed the wrong way? Like, there's mountains everywhere. I get it. The mountains are great for hiking and climbing and all that in Iran. All right, well, stick with the Rocky Mountains or go to Nepal. Jesus Christ. Anyway, point is, kids, don't go to North Korea until they're liberated, and hopefully the people just rebel eventually. I don't know. Fuck, man. What a shithole. Anyways, that was my current YouTube vortex of just watching numerous things about North Korea and like the ridiculous performances that the kids make every time there's the great leader's birthday and all this shit. Anyways, have a good day, a better tomorrow. Fuck the Dallas Cowboys as well as Chip Kelly. Peace. Yeah, that's it.